Hello, my friends. This is my first tutorial about making these altered playing cards that I did last night, and I'm not good at this. Okay, so these are my stencils that I'm using, and I'm going to be using a modeling paste and a palette knife. On each card, I'm doing the backs of the cards, and so I'm going to put down the stencil, use the modeling paste to create the pattern. I like a more distressed look, so I don't fill it in completely. You can if you'd like. So there's that one. And so I'm going to do 8 cards total, and I sped this up because it would take forever if not. This one I turned a little bit, trying to just make a variety. This will add the first layer of texture onto the cards. We're going to add probably another 3 layers, I think I did. So the modeling paste, it dries pretty quick. If you're doing a bunch of them, you don't really have to wait that long to let it dry. You can make your own modeling paste. This is stuff I bought from Golden. There are tutorials online elsewhere on how to make your own with cornstarch or baby powder, and I've done one before, but this one's a really light one that dries really fast. So just make sure after you're using your stencils that you wash them really well, because once this modeling paste is dried on your stencils, you're not getting it off. So finishing up these last ones. I think that's my favorite stencil there with the circles. I'm not even sure where I got it. So I made it a conscious choice not to cover the Delta Airlines pattern on the back. It's kind of a fun pattern anyway, and so it's basically the first layer, and then the stenciling is going to be the second layer. I'm going to go wash my stencils, then I'm back. This is gesso, or gesso, however it's said. So I'm going to put a light layer. I've mixed my gesso with a little bit of water, just so it's thinner. And we are going to cover each card with just a light layer of gesso to bring out that pattern and to push back the Delta Airlines pattern logo a bit. Just make sure that your modeling paste is pretty dry. If it's not, you can mess up your paste, but so I'm working on a baking sheet, and it makes everything really easy to clean up. It's a baking sheet liner, sorry. A little more gesso, a little bit of water. So these will dry. You'll have to let these dry again. A lot of drying time. I did use my heat tool, but you have to be careful. You can bubble up the modeling paste. It'll blister and come off the card. And that's no fun. So got those done. Last one. I think I did 2 of each pattern. I made a bunch of these yesterday. They were just too much fun. So here's my napkin that I'm using, and each napkin is 2-ply. I tried to get that on camera. There you go. Well, this one's only 2-ply. There's some that are 3 even. But we've got this fun little pattern. Makes me think of spring. Right now it's not even 20 degrees outside, so spring is a good thing to think about right now. So I'm going to cut this because I want to fit it into the card the way I want to fit it and not just make it random. So I will cut and rip the patterns out of the cards and make the butterflies fit and the flowers fit the way I want. And you really can't tell once it's glued down. Makes for some fun compositions you can add where you want. So after I get this all worked out, and I'll grab my homemade clear gesso and I'll see that it's empty. So I'll have to make some more. So this is how I've made this gesso. It's from another YouTuber that I watched, and I'll link that down below if you want to look at that one. But the recipe is 1/8 of a cup of water and 1/4 of a cup of PVA glue, which is just 2 of your 1/8 of a cups. I use a PVA glue. You can use Elmer's glue. Any kind of clear drying glue is good. And then a tablespoon of cornstarch. You can also use baby powder, but cornstarch doesn't smell like a baby powder, so I like that better. And then I couldn't find a tablespoon, so I have a teaspoon. So 3 teaspoons equals a tablespoon, in case you didn't know. So that is my gesso. So some people like to mix the water and the cornstarch together before because it might clump, but I've never had a problem with it clumping. So I will just add the cornstarch right in to the water and the glue and stir it up. So 1 teaspoon times 3 is 1 tablespoon. And this has worked really well for me, this recipe. I've used it for all sorts of applications, gluing things and sealing card over the tops of things. So here I am super fast because this was a long segment, but I just wanted to show each card getting its covering of napkins, and I will play with the composition a bit. I wanted to put these cute little butterflies on there, and so I'm not too worried about the hangover. So you'll notice like the napkin hangs over the edge of the cards, and I'll just glue all the way to the edge and let it dry that way, because then I can trim it all off once it's dry, and I'll show you that too. So this, you can still see the texture underneath. You can still see the, what is it called? The logo from the airlines card thing. Sorry guys, first video ever, so you'll have to forgive me. So I'll do a few of these with the flowers. I figure they'll be really cute in some springtime botanical or Valentine's Day books. Any kind of feminine book, really, because it's just so cute. And then I will do just a clear napkin over. Not yet, though. This one is still flowers. I'm not sure how many I did. I don't know. Anyway, so some more flowers, springtime. Make sure you push the napkin down into the crevices of your stenciled pattern, because we're going to put some color over the top, and you want those crevices for the color to sit into, and that's gonna give even more dimension and more layer to your card. So here's the clear napkin, and you'll ask, why do you want to just put clear napkin? Because it adds even more little bit of texture. Your napkin is gonna naturally bunch up. It's gonna, like that, it'll just cling to everything. And so it's gonna add those little bit of wrinkles, and then the color, once you did the color later, it's gonna sit in those little wrinkles and give you some great looking texture, great color. So on the back side is the numbers, and I didn't show it, but they got dirty. They got gesso on them, they got color on them, they kind of got grunged up, and I actually really loved them. Maybe I'll add a picture at the very end of the front side. So here I am going to trim the edges. Now they're all dry, and just have some sharp scissors, go around each edge, just carefully pull it up and trim it off. Be as well, do it as best as you can, but it doesn't have to be perfect. And then to do the rounded corners, my favorite trick is a nail file. So you'll get a little nail file, just a cheap one, and then you'll use the rough side to go around those corners, and then you'll take the napkin off the corner and around the edge a little bit if you want, and it kind of just smooths out those edges really nice and roughs them up, and that also helps the color stick on there once you're doing the color. So I don't know why I didn't speed up that part, because that's fun. Well, I only showed one. Thank goodness. I did that to all of them. So these are Stabilo Woodies. And if you don't have Stabilo Woodies, you are missing out. These are my favorite crayon, watercolor, little pencil things ever. These are just great. So you can use them as a crayon, and then if you get them wet, they work like as a watercolor. So I'm going to spray my card with just a bit of water and use a very wet brush. And I'm going to just put the color on the very edge and let it run. I rarely put the color right into the middle. You want to just wipe it on the edge of the card and then let your card run. You'll mix your colors, choose colors that go together. These are all complementary colors. You don't want to use contrasting colors because you'll make brown. And brown is good in some things, but you don't want mud. So there's like a peach and a lighter pink. They don't really have names. And then a gold. And I will just add color around the edges until I'm satisfied. Having a little spray bottle really helps direct the color. If you want the color to move more on the card, then you can spray more water onto the card after you put your color on. That works also. Then I work on a glass table because that's the best thing for me, and it cleans up really nice. So if you don't have a glass table, just do it on a plate or a palette. Even a baking sheet liner would work. So the gold looks really yellow right now, but it does dry into a shiny gold. It's fun. So there I sprayed it, if you saw that. I sprayed the card to kind of get that color to run off the high points of the stencil modeling paste and down into the, what are those called? Valleys. Yes. Spray the card, just to get that color running. So you'll want to leave some nice light areas, and you'll want to put some dark areas. This is just a scrap piece of paper that I'll pick that color up because I'm going to change colors to do the other cards. So I didn't want to waste that color that was sitting down there on the table. So on this one, I'm going to use another Stabilo. It's like a aquamarine tealy color. And the Distress, I think it's Speckled Egg. The Distress Oxide. And the gold again. These are my favorite colors. I've been doing a lot of pink lately. I think it's just drawing to those warmer colors because it's cold outside. But blues and aquamarines are definitely my favorite colors. And then when you add the gold in there, it kind of turns a little bit of green. I really liked the way this card turned out. It's super cute. You just want to wipe your brush right there on the edges. Let the color run and do what it wants to do. So just getting some more color down. Don't want to get color into my ink pad, so I wiped the top of the table before I put some more color down. I love the way these oxide inks work. They turn such fantastic colors. I'm not sure how they work, but I know that they work. And that's really all we need to know, right? I don't need to know how you do it, I just need to know what you do it. So as the Stabilos get wetter as you're using them, they'll put down more color onto the table. So that makes your job easier the longer you're working with them. But I really like them. Marimi's Small Art. I watch her YouTube videos all the time. And she's the one that recommended them. And I just love them. They're fantastic. Sorry about the excess noise. I lived with teenage boys. They're not quiet. So there we go. Those are the cards with color on them. So the rest of the video, I had some cards that I made yesterday, and I glued down, using the clear gesso again still, I glued down lace and burlap. And so I just cut random shapes out and little pieces of burlap, and then I would pull off the edges to make that frayed little edge. There's a piece of lace, I cut it off. And I just wanted to put some color on them because I thought that would make them look really amazing. And it really did. It brought out the lace, and so you can add even more. Whatever you have just lying around. I guess that's the beauty of the altered cards. You can just, whatever you want. It's not a giant canvas that you have to fill, but you can play, and playing is fun. Let that run all the way down the card. It's so pretty. I was adding some gold on top of that burlap, see if it would show up. It dried a lot lighter, but I think it still turned out really nice. So there's a few of them. I might just put music on the rest of the video and call it good. You guys can watch what you like. of the rest of it. So I hope you enjoyed my tutorial, first ever for me, and I hope to do more. I hope to learn and grow as I go, and have a great time creating and be happy. Thank you, my friends. Bye.